Chuckload of Comics is brought to you by Cold War Games, creators of Squarriors, Fight Your Friends, and Lady Death Last Stand. For more information, visit coldwar.us.
This week on Chuckload of Comics, Marvel cancels all of their X-Men titles. Mortal Kombat movie begins pre-production, and the world is left scratching their heads with the casting of the new Batman. All that plus a review of John Wick 3 right here on Chuckload of Comics. Hey guys, welcome back to an all-new episode of Chuckload of Comics. It's our Sunday Week in Review show, my favorite show of the week, and I have Hulu. Joining us here for the first time in a long time. Where you been, Ralph?
I know, right?
Oh, I thought you were going to say Shauna.
No, Shauna's always here. Ralph, welcome back to the Chuckload of Comics studio, man.
Thank you. Good to be back.
We missed you.
Yeah.
I missed you guys.
I can't wait to find out where you've been and what you've been up to in the past few days.
Oh, you know, I've been off-world. There's plenty of realms. I can't just be taking care of this one all the time.
You've been enjoying the War of
Captain
the
Marvel.
Realms.
Yeah.
Well, guys, if you're new to the channel, welcome to Chuckload of Comics, where every single Sunday we break down the nerdy news of the week. Don't miss out on a thing. We try to cover it all right here. If you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button. Please click that subscribe button.
Please.
Join us. We could use a couple more subscribers, a couple cool fans just like you. Before we get into the nerdy news of the week, we have something very special for you guys. An exclusive. And I'm going to let Ralph over there help me set it up. We're going to show you the first ever piece of Chuckload of Comics art. To call this fan art would be a disservice to that man right over there. It's more of a commission. Really, Ralph, why don't you set up what people are about to witness? This amazing piece of art that you did of Chuckload of Comics.
Well, if you've been watching the show, right, we get sponsored by Cold War, the awesome people that make Fight Your Friends, and you guys get to be on it. I think it's going to be awesome.
We are going to have our very own card on the Fight Your Friends game.
Thanks to
we
this
just
guy
found this out. We
in
couldn't
Cold
be
War.
more excited. Well, we were lucky enough to have one of the best artists in the city of Chicago.
Aw, shucks.
Ralph, why don't you do the unveiling? Cut the ribbon.
Chucks. Well, it's basically just awesome little rendition of both you guys doing your thing, this crazy,
Here it is.
iconic mic, and you guys showing off your true superpowers. Not everybody
great.
knows this about you guys, but you guys are, in fact, vigilantes.
That's right.
In fact, you know, back when Stan Lee met you in the Golden Era, that's where he got the idea for Thor, and he got Cyclops from Shauna. You guys, I think you guys started that time travel.
I love this. I love what you did. I just practically just put a word balloon over me that says, "Bring me Thanos." Sean, what was your inspiration behind Shauna's amazing optical blasts?
Oh, I couldn't help but think Cyclops the whole way. I feel like
Nice.
Shauna had to have those cycloptic beams, you know? I don't know. I loved it. I
It looks
wanted to
great.
see how many
I love
different
it.
powers I can mess with you guys with, and ultimately those were the final ones. And
Well,
I
you
feel
nailed
like
it, man.
hopefully they'll do the Fight Your Friends cards justice and
Absolutely.
maybe stand their own, you know?
Yep. So, guys, see this card and many others when Fight Your Friends finally makes it into people's mailboxes in the coming months.
Yay!
Get excited. See more art like this at fightyourfriends.net. Before we get into the nerd news of the week, guys, somebody please give this man a gun. We just saw John Wick 3
Oh my gosh.
in theaters, and it blew my mind. Guys, if you have not seen John Wick 3, get off of your seats, get off your couch, go down to your local theater,
Sit in another seat.
sit in another seat, eat some popcorn, shove gobs of popcorn in your mouth, and enjoy what I think is one of the funnest experiences at the movie theater of 2019.
All right, that's it. You've
Absolutely.
convinced me. I'm going.
Man, it was spectacular.
It's amazing. These are some of the best fight scenes I've ever seen in my entire life, like entire movie going existence. These are hands down the best fight scenes.
Yeah, director Chad Stahelski knocks it out of the park. The fight scenes are great. The world building. They've
Yes.
built this universe. What made me nervous about John Wick being a continuing movie series, a franchise, was the first one was so small. It was so epic, but on a small scale. It was just a guy going on a revenge trip after the death of his dog and
Right.
the stealing of his car. And it was just him fighting mobsters, going on a revenge thing. The second one introduced a lot more of the Continental Hotel, and the universe expanded even more. This one expands the universe even bigger.
Yeah.
They're not rehashing the same old stuff. It's not the same old jokes. The action scenes are
Oh my
choreographed
gosh.
to the 10th degree.
Right.
It's 100 times more action-packed than any of the John Wick films. And they've managed to grow the universe without seeing things you've already seen before.
Yes.
It's spectacular.
Unbelievably good.
You know, you don't get a lot of talking with Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
He doesn't speak nearly as much in this one. But, oh my God, dude, the action is spectacular. Our audience was going nuts. One thing I want to mention,
Yeah.
which really showed me what an awesome movie this was. The whole crew next to me in the theater were deaf.
Yeah.
I was sitting next to a row of deaf people, and they had the best time watching
Absolutely.
John Wick. To see a crew of deaf people watching a movie and getting all into it and getting
Yeah.
into the action, and they were cheering and applauding and going nuts.
It was
It's a
so
testament to how good of a direction Chad Stahelski did with this film.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
visually stunning.
Were they all dressed like John Wick as well?
No, they weren't. They were just dressed like normal people, normal deaf people, and they had an absolute blast.
That's so cool.
So,
That was
guys,
really- that
you
was
got to
really
go
cool
see John Wick. It's, I mean, in my opinion, probably the best trilogy of our age.
I
It's-
agree.
I can't think of another trilogy where right up to the third one, it's just as good as the first one.
Yep.
Back to the Future, easy.
You think? I don't know. Maybe Die Hard. Die Hard, perhaps a great one of
Yeah.
those trilogies. Even Star Wars. By the time you get into the Jedi, a lot of fans were kind of falling off of it. A lot of people don't like Jedi as much as New Hope
Yeah.
and Empire. This one, fans of the John Wick series are going to love this movie.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But you got to go see it. You got to see all three. This movie picks up exactly like
The
a
moment
minute
the second
after
one does.
the second one
Yep.
ends. Because the second one ends, if you remember, of John Wick being excommunicadoed from the Continental
and
Hotel,
high table, and
the high
everything,
table.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he's running.
and it's
through
just
the
him
park,
running,
everyone's
and
watching
then it's
him,
credits.
right?
Yeah.
This movie starts out with him running.
It's
It
perfect.
literally doesn't skip a beat, and it's so,
So good.
spectacular.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's incredible. Go see John Wick 3. Go see it twice. I'm going to go see it
I'm gonna see it
multiple
3 more
times.
times.
See it in the Dolby so you can really feel the gunshots blasting in your gut. You will not be disappointed. This is going to be the funnest time you've had in the theater all year, and that includes Endgame,
I agree. I agree.
in my opinion.
Yep.
All right.
Well, all right, guys. Now that our movie review is over, let's go ahead and break down this week's nerd news. Okay, guys, so the biggest news of the week, in my opinion, this news dropped, I think, on Wednesday. We got news on social media that Marvel is canceling all of their X-Men titles.
What?
This is madness, dude. I mean, if you're a fan of the Rosenberg Uncanny X-Men, it's
I
getting
am.
dusted.
Yeah.
All the X-Men titles on the rack
no.
are all getting dusted. The X-23, X-Force, what else is
Everything.
on there? Age of X-Man that like just came about. Dead Man Logan, Major X, X-Men Grand Design.
Tons of titles.
They're
I mean,
all getting the boot
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
to
a lot
make
of
way
titles.
for Sir His Holiness Jonathan Hickman bringing his triumphant return back to Marvel.
Yeah.
He's going to be relaunching the entire X universe.
That's crazy.
And he started from scratch. If you're wondering why they had to kill all of the X-Men titles in order to launch this new series, it's because Jonathan Hickman said so.
And when Jonathan Hickman says to do something, you do it.
You do it, damn it, because I mean Hickman did the Lord's work with the Avengers, he Fantastic Four, and then he was kind of done with Marvel because that was like 4 years of comics that led up to what I think is the best big special event. His Secret Wars run
Yeah.
was spectacular.
Okay.
After the worlds collided, the universe was destroyed. You had King Doom, his legendary. He hasn't done anything for Marvel since Secret Wars.
That's crazy.
He was done for like the past 5 years.
Yeah.
That's that run where Doom rips out Thanos' spine and skeleton, right?
Oh my God! That was absolutely spectacular.
Spoiler alert.
Well, he's launching it with his 2 new books, House of X and Power of X, that come out this July. Little is known about what these are going to be about. We do know that they're going to be a 6-issue run. Each are going to be just 6 issues. They're going to be very intertwining, so you're going to want to get House of X and Power of X. They said they're going to be announcing most of the details about the future of the X-Men at San Diego Comic-Con
Which is also in July.
coming
So
up
that
in
kinda makes
July.
sense.
So,
How do you build a whole new universe in 6 issues?
well, that's a good way. You got to
Guess
find
we're
out in
gonna find
July,
out. I
man.
don't
But
know.
I have all faith in Jonathan Hickman.
That's true.
One thing's for sure, Hickman is about to get super paid by Marvel.
Hopefully it's to introduce the mutants in a new way that they can bring them into the MCU.
I was wondering about that. Are they doing
You know?
this?
Like give you a fresh feel idea, and maybe
Bring in
they
new
can
fans.
even,
Yeah.
design their costumes and the way the characters are being in the books.
I mean,
as an easy transition to them.
if you know Marvel, I mean, you know they're going to somehow, because when they lost the X-Men and they killed them off in the comics.
Yeah.
They tried to introduce the Inhumans. You know, for the longest time, they were trying to kill the X-Men by killing them in the comics,
Right.
killing Wolverine, introducing the Inhumans. They killed off the Fantastic Four.
Yep.
Now that they got everything back in the fold, they're
let's
launching
bring
them
it back
again.
out.
Start from scratch. But if you're unfamiliar with Jonathan Hickman's work, guys, go in there, get his Avengers run, his New Avengers run, his
Yeah.
Fantastic Four run, and check out his Secret Wars special. His 12 issues of probably one of the greatest comic book special events in recent history.
I couldn't agree more. And I mean, if you know Jonathan Hickman's work, it's pretty dark. So I'm interested to see what he does with this
know.
X-Men series.
Yeah, well, the first
Yeah.
issues drop this July. More details to come at San Diego Comic-Con. The next big story of the week. It's all anybody's been talking about. We finally got our first casting news for the Matt Reeves Batman movie. The movie comes out June 25th, 2021. We finally have our first casting announcement, and it is none other than
Drum roll,
Mr.
please.
Robert Pattinson. Hashtag Robert Pattinson.
I thought you were going to say Danny DeVito.
No. But interesting enough, they did say the Penguin and the Catwoman are going to be in the movie. We'll get to that in just a second. I am probably one of the only people who is totally down with this Robert Pattinson casting decision. Because here's what I know you guys are against it, and I want to hear you guys' opinion. But before I hear your opinion, I want you to pretend like Twilight never existed. And I've never seen Twilight. But the reason I say that is because everybody says Robert Pattinson, oh, the sparkly vampire guy. This guy's got 37 acting credits on his IMDb. He's been crushing it, doing the Lord's work with independent films. If you never saw that movie, Remember Me, he's a really, really good actor. So here we are. We're in a world where we've got a really good director, a really good actor, making a Batman movie, and that's a good place to start. I think. Christopher Nolan, who left film for a while, is coming back. His new movie is going to star Robert Pattinson. So if Christopher Nolan has faith in Robert Pattinson, I have faith in Robert Pattinson. And I trust Matt Reeves to make a really killer Batman movie. Having said all that, Sean, I'm going to start with you because I know your feelings on this. Why don't you like Chris Pattinson as Batman?
Chris Pattinson?
Robert Pattinson. I probably said Chris Pattinson.
I don't know who that is, but he just... Okay, if I were to forget about the Twilight movies, I would have no idea who Robert Pattinson was because I've never seen him in anything else. And I haven't even seen Twilight. But he just doesn't look like a Bruce Wayne to me. But I'm not going to throw it out the window right away because, like you said, I have trust in Matt Reeves, and we don't even know what the storyline is.
That's true.
The
They're
fact that
still
it's
working
called
on a script.
The Batman makes it sound like maybe it's Bruce Wayne in his 20s. Maybe it's him actually
Like an origin
growing
story?
up and buffing up a little bit because I just do not see scrawny Robert Pattinson.
If
as
Josh
Bruce
Brolin
Wayne.
can play Cable,
But Josh
Robert
Brolin
Pattinson can play
already
Batman.
has the build, like non-bulky Josh Brolin still looks like a broad-shouldered man.
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson looks like this lanky little scrawny dude. I don't know.
They're going to start to overfeed him. Oh,
Yeah,
he's
that's
going to
true.
pack up some muscle.
honestly, I mean, the cinematic Batman universe is full of skinny Batmen.
But you're not seeing it
Christian
from a
Bale-
female perspective here. Like
Okay,
they have
I
broad
have a problem with
shoulders.
that.
They have it's not just being bulky like Dave Bautista. It's just about like the build. Like you have shoulders, you have like
Yeah.
the definition. Robert Pattinson is just this lanky looking dude.
Well, my faith is that
I don't know.
Matt Reeves knows what he wants.
Yeah,
If he
that's true.
wanted a big Batman, he would have cast a big Batman.
I'm not gonna poo-poo it. I'm just not I'm shocked.
Well, I want to show you this piece of fan art right now. This came from Boss Logic, the guy who makes like the most famous fan posters. Boss Logic made himself a Robert Pattinson Bruce Wayne Batman poster. Here it is right here. When I saw this poster, I was like, this could work. This could work. Yeah, he's small, he's skinny, he looks very young, but the shadow of the bat on the wall, he looks like a rich kid. He looks like someone who has, he's a trust fund baby.
I just don't want to see Batman in a tactical suit, man.
Okay.
Like, Batman's a
Yeah.
ninja. I feel like we've seen all that already. Enough tactical stuff, enough rubber suits.
a
I want
good
to see him in a ninja with a utility belt, moving as fast as he can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, every now and then getting shot. He gets shot in the comics and he bleeds and gets his ass kicked. So I don't want to see him deflecting bullets and wearing armor and stuff. He could still kick ass the way Batman did in those awesome scenes in Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
But thinner, stealthier, faster. I want to see that.
Let me ask you this: do you want to see a young Alfred or a really old Alfred?
Well, he's got to
What
be
do you
age
like?
appropriate. He's got to be at least like 20 years older than Robert Pattinson.
But do you like the really old white-haired Alfred, or do you like the Alfred at the age like he is in Gotham
I
on the
love
Fox
the
TV
Alfred
show?
at the age in Gotham, but he's got to be, age appropriate. You can't have a
Yeah.
At least Jeremy Irons.
Yeah.
yeah.
Jeremy
yeah,
Irons
for
aged.
Sure, for sure.
Yeah.
The Iron Age,
Yeah.
as we call it here on Chuckloader Comics.
Exactly.
So I'm sensing two thumbs downs from you guys.
I'm remaining optimistic. He
I
does kind
agree.
of have an interesting look. He doesn't
Yep.
look the worst. He's also not he's not like the machinist skinny,
Yeah.
That's true.
So I don't know.
Well, it's
There's
worth
still a
mentioning.
while.
It's worth mentioning. This is not 100% done yet. There is another actor who is still on the table. Nicholas Hoult. You know him. He was in Mad Max Fury Road. He was the guy with the blood bag. Or no, he used the dude as the
Yeah,
blood bag.
the
He
bald
also
guy.
plays Beast in the new
Yep.
X-Men movies. He's
Oh,
the other
no.
guy, the front runner, too. Who's a really good actor. If you saw him
Yeah.
in Mad Max Fury Road, he's
true.
spectacular. Maybe not as good as Beast as he was in Mad Max. But if you go to the IMDb for the Batman, there's only one credit, and it is Robert Pattinson. So it's
Somebody
almost
jumped the gun.
it's almost 100% done deal. It's going to be Pattinson. Hashtag Pattinson.
There you go.
That's not a thing yet. It needs to be.
Hashtag Bat Reeves.
Bat
Didn't you say
Reeves.
that too?
Pattinson, Bat Reeves, beats.
I'm along with Ralph. I'm not thumbs downing it. I'm surprised. I'm shocked.
Well, I might be the
So,
only person on social
Matt
media
Reeves
who's
proved me wrong.
really excited about it. Because again, we could talk about this all day. I think Matt Reeves knows what he wants. He wouldn't have cast him if he didn't think he was just the right person for the. And if Christopher Nolan trusts him, and Matt Reeves trusts him,
Then
you
gotta
guys
have
got to
faith,
get on.
faith.
You got to have faith.
Gotta have faith.
And Robert Pattinson. So, guys, keeping with the movie news, this one dropped today as our final news story of the day. Mortal Kombat. That movie we've been talking about for years now on Chuckloader Comics is finally seems to be happening.
The reboot of Mortal Kombat?
It is hopefully going to be a reboot of Mortal Kombat. Pre-production has already begun, and principal photography is going to start later this year. They're shooting
Wow.
it in
All
South
right.
Australia.
Sweet.
It's about damn time we get another Mortal Kombat movie, because there's no reason why we live in a world that doesn't have a Mortal Kombat movie.
It just seems so weird to make a movie of like a fighting game tournament. Like, what's the
That's
story
what
about?
I was asking. I was asking the exact same thing. I mean, we already had the first. They tried this. We
Yeah,
did Mortal Kombat,
and it was great. If you didn't like the 90s Mortal Kombat, there's something wrong with it. It's horribly wonderful.
I guess I'm crazy.
Yeah, I guess the first one was all right.
It's laughably great.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
badly. But,
Goro was awesome.
well, I mean, it looked terrible. Goro looked like a puppet.
Well, he was.
Well, before we get kind of our thoughts on, because we're going to talk all about it, it's a James Wan produced film. It's important to note the filming location. It's the largest film ever to be filmed in South Australia. The Prime Minister was not the Prime Minister. I think they're called the Premier. Basically, the governor of South Australia
Jebediah
is
Springfield?
totally stoked. He went on social media. He made this video and he said, "This is the largest film production in South Australia's history. Warner Brothers will bring their epic action Mortal Kombat to life here in South Australia. South Australia locations, South Australia crews, South Australia VFX companies. It'll enhance our production capabilities and create new jobs for the local film industry."
That's awesome.
The movie's supposed to bring in $48 million into the local economy, 580 new South Australia jobs, and about 1,500 roles for extras.
That's crazy.
So it's so cool that they're not doing this in a Hollywood soundstage. They're actually
Yeah.
going on location. They're
Yeah.
dumping a ton of money into the local economy.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
I love
I
that.
actually got goosebumps while you were reading all that. too.
Yeah. So if nothing else, it's good for South Australia. If it's good for South Australia, it's good for me.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the movie's produced by James Wan. You know James Wan from The Conjuring. He just finished directing Aquaman.
That's right. Yeah.
Saw. Directed by Simon
Insidious.
McCoy and written by Greg Russo. Two guys with zero credits to their name. This is Simon McCoy's first ever directorial film.
Yeah, I was seeing that. I'm a little afraid.
I know, right?
That is kind of weird. If your first, usually you want to get people's feet wet a little bit with directing
but
television.
I have to, even though I'm not super excited about this movie as you guys are, but I have to point out that the director and writer of John Wick were first timers too.
That's true.
Okay.
Didn't direct anything. Freaking, the guy was a stunt double for most of his life.
Yeah.
or a stunt coordinator.
He was a stunt coordinator. So, I
Yeah.
mean, everybody has to get their start somewhere. It just seems strange to start it with what is... I know this isn't going to be a $200 million movie, but you know it's going to be a $100 million movie.
Yeah.
Probably. Maybe at least a $60 million
At
movie?
least $48 million.
Maybe he's great. Everybody's got to get their start somewhere.
Yeah.
And Greg Russo, they've had multiple scripts of this movie, and we don't know what this script's going to be.
I mean, if it's James Wan produced, it's going to be gory as hell.
I would hope so. So let's talk about...
Be.
It's got to be a hard R, right? I mean,
It has to
nobody
be.
wants to see another PG
No.
Mortal Kombat.
Have
I
you
think,
Video
played
game
those
was
games?
art.
I
Yeah, I
know.
was
They
gonna
are
say.
ridiculous.
Right.
and we're at a height.
Fatality.
Honestly, Mortal Kombat hasn't been this popular since the 90s. It's so popular right now. What a great time for this movie to come
It's
out.
so hot right now.
I know. And it's got to be a hard R. We need to see some hardcore
Yeah.
fatalities, no babalities or animalities or any of the crap they tried. No Johnny Cage just
Yeah.
signing an autograph. I want to see some hardcore heads getting ripped
It will
off.
be. It will be. Like you said, it's James Wan. I mean,
I want to see
all the
Raiden. I
horror
want to see the
films.
original crew.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, how do you write a script about a tournament?
right.
Well, yeah, I mean,
That-
blood sport.
That ends with everybody being killed.
Jean-Claude
Karate
Van
Kid.
Jean-Claude Van Damme made his career on tournament karate movies.
I guess
It's
so. Yeah,
doable. Just
blood
follow
sport.
the blood sport formula, and
Yeah.
and make it a hard R, and you'll be
Mad
fine.
Max.
Yeah,
They
The
just always
original
pick
Thunderdome?
Thunderdome. Yep.
I just don't want them to pick like a safe character to follow around. You know how like
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want it to be the story of Johnny Cage or Sonya Blade.
I think we all know
Yeah.
it's probably going to be the story of Liu Kang, just like they did in the first one.
You think? You think they're
I
gonna rehash
think,
exactly
I think
what
Liu
they
Kang's
did?
like the character because he wins the original Mortal Kombat, in the
Okay.
movie, and then he was the one who was kind of supposed to win it in the game. Everybody beat the game with Liu Kang, didn't they?
Yeah. I mean,
Nobody ever beat it with Sonya Blade.
Yeah, you're right. Liu Kang is kind of like the Captain America of
He is.
Mortal Kombat.
He is the Captain America of Mortal Kombat.
Wow.
So, guys, get excited. There still isn't a release date, but if they start principal photography this year, we could see it as early as
2021,
the
you
end of
said,
2020.
though, right?
No, that was.
Oh, that
um,
was sorry.
that was
the
Batman.
Batman.
It could come out in 2020. It should come out in 2020.
Yeah.
It will come out.
It will come out in 2020 because we said so right here on Chocolate Comics. So, guys, that's your nerd news for the week. Marvel killing all the X-Men titles. Robert Pattinson's the new Batman, potentially. And Mortal Kombat begins its principal photography finally.
Yeah.
So, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Join us here every single Sunday for the Nerd Week in Review. Ralph, welcome back to the fold, man.
Thank you. It's good to be back here between two nerds.
Yeah.
Between two nerds. Yeah, our nice little studio backdrop. It does look like Between Two Ferns a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Between two nerds.
Just a
That's
little bit.
great. We
That's-
just gotta have something between us now.
How
Well,
about a-
I'm the one between you two nerds.
I get it.
I see what you did there. Well, there you have it, guys. Semantics from Mr. Ralph Corona.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Yeah, guys, join us here next Sunday and every Sunday. If you haven't clicked that subscribe button, please do join us here for the Week in Review every single Sunday.
Oh,
And if
yeah.
you haven't ordered your Fight Your Friends card game,
Oh,
do
yeah.
that too.
Get that
'cause you
too.
get to see our awesome card in there that
Yes.
Rafael
Yeah.
Corona designed.
We'll reveal it as soon as the card comes out. Right?
We absolutely
Yeah.
will. We'll play it for you live right here on Truckload of Comics. So that's it, guys. Have a fantastic week. We'll see you here next Sunday.